Hello, hello, hello. I'll make a bunch of you co-hosts. Co-host. They say all of you. Okay. Excelente. Here we go. Sweet. So, how's how's everything going for you guys? Do you have any immediate questions? Um, Rachel, I wanted to ask you, did Chris ever, it's his name, no, it's Brian. Did he ever respond back to us at all?
Nope, he will not respond to anything.
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep calling or texting, but nah, he's not unresponsive.
So I think what I did wrong was because we basically told him to go talk to his agent, basically to fire him, right?
Right.
The agent, I would almost guarantee the agent, like, oh well, that's illegal, dangerous, and of course, and so we didn't prime him to know that the agent where the agent's coming from, because like if you sell it to us, he doesn't get paid, even though he's been doing a garbage job and doesn't deserve the funds, but still, you know. So I think what we should have done was to prime him. Like this is probably what the agent Wilt is going to say, and then once he knows, oh yeah, that's right. Rachel and Jared said that he was going to say stuff like that, you know. So it wouldn't be as like, oh okay, I get it. And if he did have more concerns, we could address it then, and also we could have said, if your agent or someone else you're talking to has concerns, you just do us the favor and just come ask us about that question.
That would have been
You know, or so leaving the door open at the same time. So guys, just so everyone's kind of on the same page, because you know most of you don't know what's going on, but it was this deal in Florida that Rachel found just through social media, being part of groups, like not a real estate group, but it was like she which took the action, the 3-foot rule, as they say in Renatus, right? Um, but so we got it negotiated. It would seem like a really good deal for him. He had a really terrible agent that's been listing for almost a full year. Was it like 400 days or something?
400 days. Yeah, it was longer.
400 days it's been on the market, and this guy's done nothing really well, as far as we can tell, right? If it's been on the market for that long, there's a reason for it. But this guy was about to he's about to stop paying his payments, and so we got the sale financing all kind of worked out, and it was an interesting deal. I mean, it'd be challenging, but I think we still could have done it. And so we're talking about like the agent fees and whatnot, and normally like if there's agent involved, let's get them paid. But I'm a fan of paying people that deserve money versus not. So if someone's like has a listing for 400, I personally believe, and this is coming from an agent or an old agent, ex-agent, agents are kind of overpaid for what happens. But and so he was going to talk to him just to say like, hey, listen, I'm going to unlist it. Don't worry about it. But we didn't prime him to let him know what kind of objections that agent or anyone else is going to talk to. So that's something that I think Brian Sump talks about, if I'm not mistaken. But he wants to like prime the people you're talking to about creative financing, because as soon as they're done talking to you, they're going to talk to the broke uncle that's done a deal in real estate or something like that, or fell ass backwards in something. You know what I mean? And then they're going to say, "Oh, this is a terrible idea," or whatever, or they'll have the Google machine start talking. That's another reason why I don't necessarily say seller and financing together. You know, so I want them to understand what it is, but not have the negative content. What's the word? Negative connotation. Thank you. With the words. Does that make sense? So I think that's the stuff that we well, I mean, me personally, like, should have done better, and that's, I think, it could be a reason why he got scared, and we didn't prime him enough, and I think that's the reason why. Did you send that one message? I don't know if have you given up on selling your property? Have we messaged him that? Have you given up?
No, I have
Okay.
not messaged him
So
that, and I was thinking about how to craft the next message. So
yeah,
that's I'll say, have you given up? Or have you given up? Okay, like you said, have you given up on selling your property? Are you going to just let it go into foreclosure?
right. Or better yet, why don't we say, how about this? Let's wordsmith this. Have you given up on walking away, or was it letting this property? Have you given up on preventing this property from going to foreclosure? Does that sound?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Okay. Have
And
you given up on stop? Wait. Have you given up on and what did you say? Have you given up on
on
trying to stop the
on
foreclosure?
stopping or preventing this property from going to
Okay.
foreclosure. Mm.
Okay. I'm going to foreclosure. All right. That's what I'll send right now then.
And have you given up? Line is from Chris Voss. Never split the difference. That book, guys. Seriously, if you want to get really good at getting deals and discounts and creative financing, seller financing, read that book. You can do an Audible. It's like a 4 hour listen on regular speed. So it's those principles that he teaches that book. That's the stuff I'm talking about here, or a lot of it is like in how I negotiate deals. Like I just implement what that dude's talking about. But everyone should read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And
Just
Chris Voss
ordered
has a
that on
YouTube channel.
Audible too.
He has a YouTube channel. What I recommend everyone check it out. So it gives more than just a book is the good basic stuff, but there's so much more stuff that he talks about. Another guru I think I should follow is Jeremy Miner. No, not Miner. Oh my gosh. I paid this guy $20,000. Do you think I remember his name?
Mara, Mara.
Miner, maybe. Yes, Jeremy Miner. Yeah, excuse me. Oof. So Jeremy Miner, he's a sales guru, and I think he's actually from Utah, I think. But this dude is like, I joined his inner circle and got like, so again, a lot of stuff that I'm not like a genius guy. I'm just a really good parakeet. That's my another strength of mine. Like you just need to, and here's the thing, guys. As you're like learning how to negotiate, how to talk to people, you're gonna take stuff that I'm giving you guys. You're gonna take stuff that you're learning from Rena's classes and this book and that, and you're gonna make your own Courtney version of how you negotiate, or your Rachel version of how you negotiate. How do you talk to people? That's in your voice, and that's because that's exactly what I've done. Like I'm teaching you my voice and how I pitch things, how I get across the ideas, and so the idea is to take the good, leave the bad, right? And maybe it's not bad, but it's like it's not your thing. But I would recommend before you throw throw the baby out with the bathwater, try it and see if it works. And sometimes you have to try it a couple of times to get decent at it, and then once you get good at it, then you tweak it. Then you turn it back more to your voice because there's certain things in certain order, like it doesn't, it may not make it, may not think it makes a difference. Like when you're just give them the offer, here's the number, versus finding out more of their pain points, or like just switching orders and how you do things, it makes a huge difference as far as how they interpret it, or what their responses are going to be. But anyways, yeah. So Chris Voss, Jeremy Miner, highly recommend you guys all. They have YouTube channels. They're on Instagram, so they're free stuff. You can just do the free stuff, guys. That's fine. And, um, that's interesting.
Hey, Jared.
Yes.
I was talking to another investor yesterday, and he was going over the iOS and he said that he doesn't like the comps they pull on there because there's quite a few comps, like two different ways I can pull comps on there. And then obviously you want to get CMAs no matter what, though. What has been
Yeah.
your experience of the comps that the iOS gives you?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that because that's what that's what the subject. So great question. Thank you
Oh,
for
good.
leading it in perfectly. And I had
Welcome.
someone else ask about that too. Is he on? He's Eric. No, he's not on. Okay. Anyways, yeah, let's go. Let's start cracking those things up open here. Da-da.
Yeah, and it's because like Rachel and I were talking about different like glitches we're running into like Deal Machine and iOS and wondering how you navigate that because you're using both of those.
Yeah.
So
Let's
anyway, cool.
let's
I'm glad you're
go
talking
over
about it.
both, and then and even like maybe like through the other websites to get rough ideas, right? Does somebody have a deal that they're working on that wants to get a CMA or excuse me an ARV price on it that we can just do something in live?
I have something I'm thinking about if nobody else has one. Did you hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. I think that's yeah. Let's do it. I was just yeah. Go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, yeah, full free. So what's your tell us
202
about your deal?
Hemlock. Okay, I just talked to this investor about a different property, and that one's not working out. But we talked more about what we both each do. He owns a franchise that fixes and flips and does rentals here in Knoxville area, and so he's asking me what I do. Even though this is my third or fourth conversation following up on this house that I keep following up with on. And so then after I got off the phone with me, he texted and said, would you have any interest in this property, which is the one I'm giving you, 202 Hemlock, Hemlock Street in Alcoa, Alcoa, Tennessee. And he said, and so I guess I would love you to use that property to answer Jenny's question. And he said, would you have any interest in this? I own it, but looking to sell it to an investor or buyer that can do the work while living there. If I can't sell it, I'm going to fix it up and add a second bathroom. It's a 3-1.
So
And go ahead.
he's living there?
No, he's not living there. He's an investor. He owns multiple properties in his franchise
Oh, okay.
that does fix and flips. He owns the Knoxville franchise. So I called him about another house. So he's an investor, but he's looking to sell this to an owner investor who can do the work while living there. If he can't sell it, he's going to fix it up and add a second bathroom.
He owns a franchise, a fix and flip franchise?
Yes, called New Again Homes, and he owns the Knoxville branch.
Hmm. Oh, my camera's off. Okay, that's interesting. Sorry, I'm gonna go on tangent. I better not. Let's just let's keep focused. Because there's franchises out there of like wholesaling and fix and flips, and I think it's insane. I don't understand. It just blows me away. People are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and giving this franchise owners percentage of every single deal that they do just to have a name next to theirs when no one knows. Like if you have a name next to yours of like I'm a seller and I'm with XYZ company, like okay. Like it doesn't like, oh yeah, that's the company. You know what I mean? Uh yeah, it's whatever. Maybe I should make my own franchise and have people pay me percentages just to have a Mr. Host. I don't know. That's the
Maybe
dumbest
it
thing.
offers like some kind of maybe it offers like some guidance or something with it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. What? Sorry, that's a whole other side tangent. What's the address again?
202 Hemlock, Hemlock Street, Alcoa, Tennessee, 37701.
Alcoa. How do you spell Alcoa?
Alcoa.
Sorry, one more time.
COA. Alcoa,
COA.
yeah.
Tennessee.
Mhm.
37701.
Yep.
Okay, 202 Hemlock Street, Alcoa. Okay. All right, let's check out Renatus iOS comps. Okay, so when you go into Renatus iOS, as properties, create. So this is like this is another CMA for you if you wanted to use it. But when you're putting in that and this is just for like specifically Renaissance iOS, you want to make sure that it autofills, because otherwise it won't pull up all the data from the house. So just sometimes I have to like erase until it pops up. So I'll like erase the zip code, or there's a comma there and it's thrown it off or whatever. So I have to play with it a little bit. Okay, so now we're in this property. So we have, which another cool thing is, so I mean, it does say so Knox Development Incorporated. So it tells you who the owner is, who the owner is, which is awesome. You can get, if it has mortgage information, the mortgage is right there, if there is any. It's kind of a hit and miss. It'll definitely tell you like the lender, but the prices seem to always off. Oh, see, Cynthia. I wonder if that was a previous.
Cynthia Wetzel is what it says. Bradley, it says Bradley Billy sold it to a Cynthia Wetzel. That's on Deal Machine.
Okay, so Cynthia Witzel, that's probably the, I don't know, the
That was
mortgage is still there, or they paid it off. I don't
2001.
know. Anywho, so it give some data points of the property, right? And so when you on here is analysis, this is the same place where you do deal analyzer, the repair estimator we went over the other day, and so comps, evaluations. So in Utah, it's a little bit more. It's not 100% accurate, but because we're a non-disclosure state. But other states, which I think Tennessee is a disclosure state, the information should be even better. So, which is phenomenal. When you're looking up comps, if you have the ability to control, I think PropStream has similar controls, and when you're actually, if you have access to MLS, that's always going to be the best. But I try to first start within, and then if I can't find enough comps, then I'll start going outwards as far as the distance. So I try to keep it within a half a mile and as close as I can as far as like the square footage. On this property, do you know, oh, this is just on the market, isn't it? Okay. So this stuff's going to be fairly accurate then, hopefully.
Well, Zillow usually says what it's been sold for, right? At some point.
Sometimes, yeah. So Zillow is going to give some
Okay.
information. So for example, let's see here. So it's listed for sale since March, 215, but they bought it back in a couple months ago for 155. No wonder he wants to sell it. Like I'll sell it for a $60,000 profit. That seems legit. I'm down for that. No wonder. Yeah, 215. So here's the cool part. Now you know his wiggle room.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we know his bottom line. Like, well, he's not gonna, because he does have money cost and things like that since he's been holding on to it for 4 months. So there's cost that he needs to recoup. But we know if he sells it to you at 170 or something like that, like he's not losing money. He's probably making a little bit. So anything above that, you're like, okay, cool. This is something that if he just wants an easy 10, 15 grand, ready to go. Cool. Okay, so all right, so back to here. So within 5 miles, I'll try to do the last 3 months ideally. But again, so it's the same thing with it. We'll try to go as close to the date and close to the actual property as humanly possible, and then move out if we can't find. I want to have at least 3 decent comps that make sense, right, for that property. I believe the yellow ones are active listings, so it'll show, like if I click on it, there's the address there, sold October 25th, 2004. So that's the last sell. This is an active listing. So that's not going to be, it's active listing for 110. I wonder. No. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to look at it. So the cool thing with Renowned iOS, you can just click on the Google thing, and it'll just Google the property address, which is kind of cool. So you can check on Zillow and see what the, okay. So they're trying to sell for 350. 54. And I wonder if this is rehabbed or not, because that'll give us an indication of what. That's a beautiful, beautiful house. I don't, so I don't think it would be a remodel, but it's definitely like, it's livable. Okay. So and let me check that one mostly because it's so close. Right. Okay. So now we're looking at the sold properties. So the 440, was this active too? Green should be sold. Yeah, it's off. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. And you can click on the address itself and it'll pop up the information for that comp. And if I'm going too fast or just sometimes I get too click happy. So if I lose you guys, please fill me in. A lot of times when you click on the property, it will give you the MLS pictures, which is nice. So it doesn't seem that this is a rehab property. Like this is, wait, is that this? The shenanigans? Did I not? Oh, I did. This one. Okay. I don't know. I'm losing my mind, guys. Sorry. Okay. Anyways. So you don't even have to have your mind you're all together to make money. See? Hope for everyone. All right. So we're looking at square footage is about the same. It's a little smaller house. And they buy in cash. That's interesting. So the last loan was 87,000 back in 2021. And this doesn't make, this is not. So it's saying this is active. So this is not sold. What the hell's yellow then? This property is currently listed. This property is currently pending sale. That's what it is. Okay, so these are trash. Okay, so let's move it out to 6 months. So green and yellow we don't want. We want reds.
Well, Jared, that's the other thing I am too on the iOS is that when I say like last 3 months or 6 months, it'll go back years. It'll still pull those stupid comps.
Right. Well, so if it goes back to as far as the years ones like 2004, that's because it's an active listing. So it's showing was last sold. So that's why it'll show up stuff like that. You can also on here on the more, let's get rid of active and pending cells. Pending cells are a little bit better, but that's okay. Okay, so I don't know what the blue ones are. So we have the closest, and knowing the areas is important, right? Because I'm not sure if this Lincoln Road here, it could the entire. That's the thing with neighborhoods, like across a certain street or freeway, the property values can jump up dramatically. Like you go down to places here in Salt Lake, Cottonwood Heights, and just a couple blocks over, when out of the Cottonwood Heights borders, like the houses are very similar, but they're a couple blocks away, and then it's $100,000 price difference. And so that is also something when you're looking at comps, like if if you're looking at a deal from like another wholesaler or an agent's doing CMA, if they're pulling comps that are because they want to be the hero, like, oh yeah, you're looking to flip this, and if you buy it, I'm making money. Great, here are these comps when it's going to sell for 900,000, but it's like, but that's like 4 blocks over here, and that's a whole nother area, and the valuations, those properties are just worth generally more because of the area. I'm over here, even though I'm close, still over here, so it's not a real comp. Does that make sense? So knowing, and that comes with time and asking people and understanding that there are borders and like where price changes are pretty dramatic. So which is a challenge when you're in an area. So I don't know Tennessee at all. But if I was something I was going to buy, I would definitely make sure I'd get with local professionals and check with multiple different ones. So, all right, back to the point. So I 331.
So Jared, if you're not using a CMA, what numbers do you trust the most as far as sell prices?
What numbers do I oh for like without or knowing how much it sold for? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, without a realtor or CMA, how would you like? What numbers do you feel comfortable going off of?
So if you look down here, here's the cool part. So in Tennessee, it probably did sell for 321 because we're in Tennessee. You know, I don't think it's a. If I had to guess, it's not uh, non-disclosed state. So another good indication is make sure that you're on the path where give or take. So there's two loans on this property. So we have a total of 240,000 most. Okay. Um, this was taken out on October 15th for 224,000. So they probably had another loan to help with the down payment kind of thing. So if 240,000, they're saying it sold for 321. Oh, hang on. That makes me raise an eyebrow. They could have put down 40,000 on it. Loan to value 70%. I would typically look at what the loans were versus what the program saying it sold for, and usually they're pretty close. This is 100,000, and the thing is, like, they could have put down 100,000 down. That is definitely something that could have happened, right? And you can look at this. So it gives like agent's phone number. So if you're like curious to see how much it sold for, just call the agent. But yeah, I would say 321. Just because if it was in Utah, I would like be a little bit iffy on it. So we're over here. So 195. And this, if I had to guess, this is probably not a full. Not a full. It's probably probably needs some TLC if I had to guess, which doesn't have pictures on it, which is okay. All right, this 524 sold last month.
I got an agent in Tennessee if they want to use it.
Nice.
Did you say he said he had a title agency?
Yeah, no, he has an agent,
Oh, okay, good. Who is that? Who's talking?
Frank.
Frank Morales. Thank you.
Okay, so this one sold for 500,000. However, look at the lot size too. I mean, that's a big square feet. Where's the lot? Oh yeah, that's 5 acres.
6 acres.
So yeah, that's a big difference. And that's something to keep in mind too. Like when the price points are super high, like 5 acres versus this one's sold. How much? What's the lot on this one? I wonder. Just out of curiosity. And this is being that this is an area I'm not familiar with. I'm doing a little more research than I would normally, but lot size, yeah. So like what is that, third of an acre, give or take? So yeah, that's way different. So that would be something that's not something we want to. Here it is. What's the lot size of the subject property? I wonder.
I think it's 0.17. I can look.
So yeah, 10,005. How many square feet are in an acre? Guess we asked the Google machine.
Yeah, they'll probably find out for you.
So 410. So we're getting prices all sorts of. And here's the thing. What do you guys know? This is a different style of home too. It has a garage. So I don't know. I would even use that as a comp was this one and the other one. I wouldn't use the comp just because it's a huge lot, so it's not a fair comparable. And same with this one. It's different style home. It has a garage. So, and it's almost a mile away. So I wouldn't feel comfortable using either one of those two as comparables. So this one sold for 230.
43,000 square feet in an acre, 43,560.
43,000. Okay.
Yeah, 43,560.
So it's about a fourth of an acre, 10,000 then. Okay. Thank you, Rachel, for checking that. So this is a newer home built in 1958. Ours is like 1920, something like that. The subject property. Residential. Okay. There's no pictures of it. So yeah, this probably did sell for what was this sold? Where'd it go? Last sell for 230. And this one, listing price, so it was canceled. Status changed. Why is this even there? So this has a garage. Status. So it was sold for 310 December. And then they tried to sell it again months later, or a month later, but no takers. So this property could not get sold for 400,000. And it looks like it's in really good shape. Like this, they probably did a light rehab on it without seeing the old pictures. Oh, that's the old one when they first bought it. Oh yeah, they did. The picture's really better quality, that's for sure. And it didn't sell for 400. With this, so this is a challenging one. If I had for the ARV, just from the small data points that we do have, so this did sell and it was in decent shape when it did sell for 310. This sold for 320. These aren't comparables. As far as the 220, it's hard to say what the condition of it. I would just from these two comps here, I would say the ARV is probably right around 310. Because we don't have enough data points where it comes down to it to make it like for sure, right? So if we go back even further, we have this 350. What is this? This is back in August, excuse me. And so what I did, guys, again, sorry, I go fast. I just brought it out to a year. So we were on 3 months, then I brought it out to. So we first started with half a mile away from the subject property, and then eventually turned out to a mile. Then it was like my first start was 3 months, within 3 months, and then within 6 months, and within a year. So it's gonna be hard to say like that's a comp, but when you're not pulling enough data points, you have to pull what you have, what you can, I should say, which is a big problem. Like when you're looking at like smaller town properties out in the rural areas, you're going to see even worse challenges than this one. But 350. So the property did sell for 350, and this one was 300. That was the one we were looked at already. Yeah, I would say 310 comfortably with these data points that we have. And so there's different ways of doing it. You can go off of square footage, price per square foot. I don't like that. That's usually off. What I like to do is like I'll find comparables of about the same year, about the same style of home, and this about the same square footage, bedrooms, and I'll get a pool of like these of the properties, and then average out basically what I think it's going to be, being conservative. So there's possible this property could sell for 320, maybe even 350 if you get really, really lucky. But as far as like running numbers, I would say 310 on this one.
Yeah, especially since it only has one bathroom. It's
Oh, it has one bathroom, and these,
I
let's see,
think it's
I like
3-1, yeah.
so maybe 300 then, because that's a good point. Yeah, I would say 300. I wouldn't say more than that. Which is weird. That's a decent sized house. I wonder why it only has one bathroom. 1,500 square
Well,
feet. Or no,
I
no,
think well, I think
1,700.
so there's tons of houses in the Knoxville surrounding Knoxville area that are 2-1, 3-1, 1-1s because they're all a lot of them are super old. Like this one's 1941, I think, but a lot of them are even 1899, 1920s,
Was there a
and
fire?
I don't know.
Feels like there's a fire. Or just really dirty. I don't know. Because they could have painted the walls after the fire. Because this looks like it was not recently, but because that, I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say. But it is definitely worth a question. Like, was there ever a fire in this property?
Okay.
It could just be the
And
soot from the fireplace, but
now
not
I think
terrible.
what and also like so you're saying you would put it at 300 and
Mm-hmm.
does the Renatus iOS it also does comps, right? Like without you putting all that or did
Yeah,
you
so the Renatus iOS, it is saying, and this is this, and I use like the Renatus iOS comps or Deal Machine, like they're same as I same as like the like Zillow and Redfin. They'll give you an estimate what they think the value is. I kind of put them in the same category. Now, obviously, if it's listed, it's only going to tell you what it's listed for. It's not going to show you what it thinks it is. You know, so off market will give you about the same idea. But so we're looking at the subject property because it'll give you what the AVM, which is after what is that? It's like the ARV. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's ARV, after repair value. And so they're saying it'll sell for 325 is what
Hey,
they're.
Jared,
Yes.
AV means AVMs, that's after value market. So it's the same as
Adjust.
AVR.
Wait, what was that again?
After market, or it's after market.
After
After
value market?
after value market. That's how they put it. Mhm.
Oh, that's weird.
I know
After
it's
value?
just different. Yeah, after
Oh,
value market. Don't ask me why. I looked it
yeah.
up. That's why I know.
Right. Well, why did you name it AR? Just kidding. Yeah, thanks, Laura. Appreciate that. Yeah, so yeah, ARV, right? So 325. That's what we're looking at. Now let's look at Deal Machine. Or any questions about that? Like where so this tells me like a rough give or take, that's probably right. And it probably could sell for more than 300, but again, you always want to be conservative on the numbers because you want to have oops, I made more money, right? And oops, the person, because here's the thing, like the flippers, they're going to look at it, and some of them are more conservative than others because maybe they're using their money, so using hard money, they're not using hard money, so they don't have that cost, or maybe they know the market well enough, like, oh yeah, this is going to sell for 350 easy because they've done 12 flips in the area, they know, like, I don't know, right? But still, I'd rather have it conservative and then have us and the flipper make more money, on at the end of the day, right? Because we're creating a better deal. So I would rather pass on some potential deals than buy a deal that's going to make us lose money. Okay. Any questions about that so far? Deal Machine. All right, let's check out Deal Machine with the same address. We're gonna do the same address, okay? Deal Machine. I love it. Oh, why is it still going? It says we're in a call session. Making some calls last night and only did 84 calls, but it still says I was in the session. Okay, anyways, moving on. Let's check out that address. So I'm gonna click on the property. It's the same thing. Like you want to make sure you're clicking actually on the property. So I put in the address and then I'll give you options to click on. So it does say it's listed for 215. It gives a estimate equity, right? So they're saying it's about 109,000 or so, 110,000 of the loan that's on there. So original loan amount 215. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, 0.24 acres. That looks good. Yep. So, okay, Knott's development. Now we can go into comps right here. And one thing I make sure that you do, so it gives an estimate value right away, 375. The average price sold in the area is 358 is what it's saying, and like price per square foot is 315. Now I'm gonna go into like filters and remove. Okay, good. So go into filters always and check if the county records. It'll base that number of that to repair value off of the county records and as well as the MLS, which when have you ever seen the county records to be accurate on the valuations? So yeah, that's not like just using this as an example to say that okay, cool. Oh, balls. Okay. All right. So we had like the county and now it's saying 350 or 347 when it said before it was like 370, right? Which is probably closer to what reality is, but that's okay. But yeah, so I'm gonna take it out of the city comps. So 375 is what it's saying that the valuation is. I don't know about that. So we're looking at the map here. Can
Yeah,
I?
well, I wonder too, Jared. It says it's on this. It says unknown bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So if it is if really only 1 bathroom, how much would you take off? 50,000 for only 1 instead of 2 bathrooms? Would you take off 50,000?
I would take out like 20.
20. Okay.
So if we're looking at, okay, so this is one thing I wish they had. It was, come here, you. Okay, here we are. So look at this is more than a mile away, guys. Because when we're looking at Renatus iOS, and when you're looking at so this is where we're at. This is a mile. So, and they're pulling comps. When you look at the map, here, let me just get this smaller so we can kind of really see. Those comps are pulling from here because you look at this weird looking block, and let's go over here. So you got this weird looking block here, but all of these comps are like way out there. So I don't know if I trust. Yeah, they're like way out here. We want to have it close as you can, possibly can. Like I said, I had to go out a mile to get those few that we had that we're saying we can sell it for. But even all of those are further away than a mile. So, that's very interesting. That's that far away. So I wouldn't even, and it's not giving anything that's close. Nothing's in the same area, neighborhood at all. MLS. This is not active, is it? Sell on December. So this is just sold on December 5th. So you can click on it and take a look at it, and or this little pop-up button here. 410. Let's just say that all of these were close. Okay. When you're looking at properties, and like a lot of these are like in the high 200s, low 300s. And then you get properties like this, that's like the 500 and something. I would typically throw those out. Like I would look at it and see why it sold for that much. Like what was the deal? This a little bit bigger. And, it's almost 3 baths. So it's bigger, different area. I wonder how big the lot is too. That's probably it's twice the size of a lot as well. So you'll see people like trying to do comps, and they'll see that one $500,000 property, like, oh, you can sell for 500,000. Here you go. I'm gonna wholesale this thing for 300,000, which is like the ARV, or even trying to sell it or whatever. You'll see a lot of newbies trying to do that. But basically, you want to, those outliers, you just want to erase those, get rid of them. Like, you can look at it and see what the conditions are, the why it might have sold that much, or, but if it's like everything is 300, then you get that one 500, then just ignore the 500 and go off with the base, what the averages are looking at, right? So even if these were within what I would consider comps, I would still put the price closer to 320 if I'm just looking at this, or 310. So I would be probably about, if this is all the data points I would have, I'd probably still put it at the same price point. Maybe I would have set a little bit higher depending on these ones if they were close by. Let me open it. View. Days of the market. That's good. Recently sold. Is this making sense what I'm saying, guys? Because I mean, if you have questions, because I'm just kind of clicking, sometimes I don't say what I'm clicking on, so please ask questions, throw erasers at the screen, whatever. Let me know. So I would say, yeah, go ahead.
So when you're getting numbers from both of those websites, excuse me. So whatever like the common number is of the sell price, you kind of go off of that roughly.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. That's what I was kind of doing with that Tremont place. So.
Right. And you want to make sure that, like, oh, how's that going? Did you finally get that under contract, or what's the?
Some realtor was, showing the house, and so he might do it on the market.
Ugh.
Yep.
So I would
But
say, like, hey, what is the realtor?
Same amount.
What is the realtor's? Oh, wait. What is the real? How much are they trying to list it for?
He's trying to get 310 out of it, but when all's said and done, he's gonna get below 300 anyway.
Right. So I would say, like, hey, would you be open to selling it right now to me, and you walk away at the same amount? Because when you're looking at it, because yours was 270, right? Is your offer
270? But I would go to 280.
Okay, so cool. So 310 times, and we're gonna do like because if he's selling it, he really should be paying the buyer's agent fees if he wants to sell it for the good price. But so let's say, so he's 7% just for closing, 6% for agent, 1% for closing. So he'd be paying 21,000. So he'd walk, if he gets the asking price at 210, he'd be walking at 290. But you have to wait, and you have to go through, and probably he may or may not even get the asking price of 310,
Right.
So I'd be like, I mean, is waiting because the difference would be if you're willing to go 280, and it still makes, like, it really like makes sense. You're gonna make, how much you're gonna make on the flip if you buy it at 280, if you know off the top of your head.
Conservatively, probably 30 to 50. No, probably more than that, honestly.
Wait,
I mean, if I sold it for, well, it depends how much I fix up on it. So if I just did the top,
yeah,
that would probably be like 40 grand. Wait to do the basement. It just all depends. But I mean, the profit was at least, I think it was at least 50 grand when on conservative numbers if we rehab the whole place.
So 50 grand, give or take. Okay. So, and don't go up more than that. Like, have your max offer and hold to it.
Right.
Like, kudos to like Natalie and Spencer. They were looking at a deal I was selling, and my number was like, you need to buy it at 229, but their number came at 205, and I couldn't budge. And then they could have easily convinced themselves, yeah, I'll go up to this number, but they didn't. They're like, no, the 205, and I was like, good, don't. Even though, like, I want them to go higher, because it's the deal, because I'll make money, but it's like, no, like, they held to their max offer and they stayed there, even though it's just like, oh, it's a little bit more. I mean, it's easy to get into an emotional state and just kind of commit yourself to get into it, because I mean, I think it was kind of tight for him anyways, and so I'm really proud of they didn't just bump up the fourth, even this 4,000. That's not much, but that's really good just mindset, and you're going to get
Yeah.
into a lot less crappy deals by having your max offer and sticking to it no matter what. So, I mean, just shout out to, is Natalie on here? I don't know. I get, anyways. So, yeah, so 210, yeah, so they're like, is it worth waiting 3 to 6 months and dealing with them getting under contract and then knocking things down because they want concessions, for potentially maybe making an extra 10 more thousand than what I'm willing to offer, or you just want to sell it now and
Well,
have your family
but
win too?
my contingency is that I would give him 30 grand, 6 months, give him 20 more, and then a year pay in full. So it would take longer for me to pay him. And
Sure.
I think he's been kind of glamorized by the immediate sell and just having it done.
Okay.
And they're in counter negotiations right now. So we'll
What
see what
if,
happens. He's like, well, you're next in line. So, okay.
well, ask him what would it take for you to be in first line? Ask him, have him answer that question. What would it
Hmm.
take for me to be in first line? I'm just curious. So now, then he's thinking, okay, what would it take? Yeah, if you can either match this or do this, or like maybe, then that opens up a whole nother dialogue, because now he's thinking like how his brain's now working. How can I sell this deal to Jenny versus like, I just want the best offer. Like, okay, well, how I would say yes to you if you change this, this, and this. But anyways, okay, sorry. The
Side note.
distraction. But that's good stuff. This is good. I mean, stuff, that's why we're here. We're talking about deals. So yeah, this one, it's a little bit, I'm kind of glad we got this one that was a little bit weird because it didn't have a ton of comps in it. So we can see the different stuff that we're looking at, guys, as far as like comparables and using different websites and things like that. So on and using like Zillow and Redfin gives you rough ideas, right? If it's not on the market. It'll also, here's another, what's the other website? So we can go down. This is their Zestimate, give you another ideas of kind of how what the Zestimate valuations are in the neighborhood. But we're looking at this, everything's like 200. There's only a couple that's over 3 as far as the estimates. So which makes me feel, and again, look at this. So here's an example. So we're looking at everything's like in the high 200s. Literally backside, these are all like 350, right? And 300 range, maybe, a couple low 200s. But this like a block over, there's different valuations to kind of, and like all, yeah, a lot of these, there's a lot of 300 plus over here. While here, they're like low 200s, mid 200s. Again, this is just Zestimate, Zillow, so it's kind of, I mean, it's nothing you want to like write to the bank with, but you want to like, it gives you a rough idea, gives you some little bit wider view understanding. And then nearby homes sold, you can kind of look at these type of properties too if you don't have access to the MLS or like the Deal Machine but Deal Machine has a what is it, a month or week? No, 7-day trial. And if you guys do use the promo code, you'll get an extra $30 on marketing funds. So that's always cool. And then Renatus iOS, if you're a Renatus member, it's 127 or 124 a month, but the first month's for free. So sign up and with one email, cancel 29 days later, sign up with a different email. That's what I did. I mean, I know someone did that. I know someone that did that when they were in Walmart. Someone else
I'm
that worked at Walmart.
also I'm also I've got in with Lily and all them in January, and I'm thinking of switching to iOS. So I put a post up in school, just letting everybody know that I'd love to be able to sell my prorated deal machine
Oh, okay. Yeah,
for what I
that's cool.
paid for it for the remaining months.
And even though it doesn't come with the dialer, like that prorated thing, but it's still, I think it ends up to be like $20 a month or something like that, or $30 a month, which is
$29.75 a month. Yeah.
yeah, which is a killer deal. Even if you just take away the dialer, it's still amazing. Pull up the leads, phone numbers, like yeah, it's a really good deal. It really is.
Why do you have both?
Why do I have both?
Hmm.
So I like so I use Deal Machine for like the dialer. I pull up. I can when I'm pulling up when I'm making lists. I'm pulling lists from here. And as far as like Renatus iOS, I love their deal analysis. The deal analysis is really good. The repair estimator, um, I just use them for similar but different things, and it's just cost of business for me. So you guys don't have to have both or what but I just like them because I'm on either one of them, if not both, every single day. Like it's not okay. Now another one is Rentler, or is it no? Which one's the other website that I like? Trulia. Okay, so Trulia does give you, if it's on market, maybe a little bit different, but they will give you, okay, so price history, so that, which is pretty kind of nice if they have that information, right? So listed for sale, and also show similar homes you might like. Auction, ooh, that's nice. Okay, let's see, maybe it has to be, oh no, this might be it. Yes, okay. So comparables for the Hemlock property. And so it gives you the distance, like the home, the sold price, when did it get sold, square footage, all of that stuff. So
That's
distance,
the
this is
best
just
one
like,
I've seen yet.
yeah, right next
Don't
to
have
it.
to
But
do, yeah, the work is already done for you.
so yeah, I mean, this is a great website. I mean, again, free. How much did I spend to get on here? Nothing, right? So as you're going through, you're gonna, I mean, and that's one thing. Like, so I'll pull up comps from Renat's iOS, then I'll verify it from like going to different websites just to make sure how right I am, how close I am. Just doing a quick little search, and so like yeah, so this is showing a little higher, but they're way far out there, but still kind of about what I thought. If I would have started here, I would have thought it would have been more higher. Um, but then I would have corrected myself once I got to the Renaissance iOS because of their closer stuff. But yeah, but even then, you're looking at this. This is stuff within less than half a mile away, and like our max, we're getting like 300 there, 305, and you can click on it and take a look at the pictures and see what kind of condition it is, which is also gonna indicate how much rehab you have to do. Because if like my initial, when I look at a property, I'm like, okay, I'm a Walmart investor. When I do flips, I like to do Walmart flips. Like my initial instinct when I walk into a property is like, can I put tape on it and fix it? That'll probably be right? That's a Walmart mindset. That's a Walmart style of home. Okay. I put tape paint on it, the structure's kind of bad, but if I do an extra layer of paint, that'll hold up that wall, right? I'm not that bad, but you know what I'm saying, right? But if it's like you come in, like, oh, I want to have the nicest stuff. I'm going to put granite countertops. I'm going to do like all sorts of really cool stuff. And you're going to put in 100 grand into this Walmart flip, and it'll sell super quick. And you might get more than with the average in the area, but you're not going to get the value, the money you put in back into it. That's for sure. Like if you just would have left it and did it the same as the other properties, so that's why this comparables. I mean, again, you might get someone a little bit over asking just because it looks so nice. Like, cool, awesome, it's great. It's a sell faster, 100%. But the money you put into it is not going to be worth coming back. So so if I'm doing a rehab, like, look, these are not brand new cabinets. These are old cabinets. But it looks like they probably did a new countertop, backsplash. So like that's what I would want to do if I'm doing the flip, or if I'm doing the numbers, if I'm doing the flip, then I would want to do, I don't need to have new cabinets if I just do paint if they're still functionable, because this one sold for 305 and the cabinets are fine, right? But kitchens and and bathrooms are going to be the biggest tells of what you need to do, really, right? Other than that, good floors. They didn't even finish the basement, looks like. There's like 1,000 pictures of the kitchen. They're really proud of the kitchen. But I think I'm just I think it's repeating itself. That's probably why I'm seeing the kitchen again. Anywho, but that gives you a rough idea, right? Kind of, so this is nice too. So if I'm just looking at this data, I'd probably say like, yeah, I'm probably like at 300, 310, almost exactly what I was thinking in when I was looking at the data from Renatus iOS. Okay, so now I have a couple data points where I'm thinking, okay, cool, yeah, and you write this stuff down. This house sold for this. This help, and if you are going to use this in like your email blast, then you probably want to copy the link to and put it in there so they can click on it. So it's not so much you're saying it's sold for this or it's worth that, like this website is. So they can click on the link and it shows them. And just make sure you have lots of disclaimers whenever you're showing stuff like this, as far as like, hey, this is just as a courtesy, do your own due diligence. Great. What questions we have on comps? Does this make sense? Do you guys feel comfortable enough if you had to go run comps on your own and kind of figure out what the after repair value price is? Would you guys feel comfortable enough to do something like that? Even if, so again, if you don't have those Renatus iOS, Deal Machine, but again, like Trulia and other websites like that can give you some for free. Trulia is probably one of the best ones to do something like this to get that data.
Without iOS, and it's amazing repair values, then what are you using to guesstimate?
So you can just do, if I didn't go through and do the repair estimator, you need price per square foot. That's kind of like and honestly, like I've done this enough where I kind of look at a property and I'm like, okay, I think the rehab cost is going to be right around here. And I'm usually pretty close. That just comes with time. So but price per square foot, if anywhere from, depending what needs to happen, anywhere from 20 to 50. If it's going to be Nordstr, I'm probably more on the lines of like 30 to 40 is kind of where I would normally, unless it's like a really Nordstr property, but I don't normally get those or work on that kind of thing. So, perfect. That's right. It's weird. I sent this guy proof of funds and it says it's fake. Like, what? How's it? Call the dude. What are you talking about, man? Anyways. Yeah. Any questions about pulling comps or any stuff like this? Nothing. Easy peasy. Yeah. So if you bought this at 3, or if you're like wholesaling, for example, at 315 or 215, yeah, I don't know. I think if I had a just shooting from the hip, because this still does need a decent amount of work, and I'm still iffy if there's been maybe this is dirt.
I texted him about the fire and he answered me and he said, not that he's aware of. The seller didn't say anything about a previous fire.
Okay. So when you're looking at this, guys, the kitchen that we saw before, like the cabinets are basically the same, and the countertop's good. We probably obviously paint and redoing that and putting a backsplash on there, but like you wouldn't have to do that much work in the kitchen other than like with the obvious stuff, right? So backsplash you want to put in there, maybe new appliances. Still blows me away. It's funny to see washer and dryers in the kitchen. I don't know why. It's weird to me. And that basement's gonna need some TLC too. New doors.
I don't think that's an actual basement. I think it's just we have a lot of crawl spaces here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. It's not supposed to be finished.
Gotcha. Okay. Without doing the full analysis, I would shoot from the hip, and I'd probably say maybe 175 to 150 would be like where you're looking at. And he bought it at, what was the price that he bought it at again? What was it? It was
155.
155.
Yeah.
So maybe even 170, 175 would be like the max. That's not doing any analysis. It's like kind of shooting from the hip kind of number. But that's what I'd put it at there.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions before we call it a wraps? And hey, Sal, are you on here? I'm gonna call you after this. We got to figure out what's going on with this guy. But okay. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you all. And let's keep at it. Okay. Oh, and but Saturday we're doing door knocking Bonanza. So it's in the calendar. We'll get the address there tomorrow for everyone to go. But yeah, let's go to the door knocking Bonanza. Nice weather, hopefully. It's getting warmer, I should say. But okay. All right, guys. Love y'all.